All right, good morning. So this is week 2, and we're going to talk about 2 more of the top interview questions that you're likely to get asked in a professional interview. So last week, I know I posted it, I think just yesterday, but for week 1, it was tell me about yourself and what do you consider your greatest strengths? So followed by the greatest strengths question is probably, as you can guess, is going to be what do you consider to be your greatest weakness? Now, in my opinion, this is absolutely the dumbest question. Somebody somewhere saw it in a book. You should ask this question, whatever. This question does not require a lot of thought and preparation like the other questions do. So you can kind of answer this in one of 2 ways. One is what I would pick something that maybe was a weakness that you worked on and it's no longer a weakness. Just whatever you do, don't pick anything that is directly related to the job that you're applying for. So for example, like if you're going for a customer service position and you're like, yeah, my greatest weakness is I just hate people, like that's not probably the best idea, the best route to go. Or if you're going for some type of financial planning or accounting and you're like, yeah, I really just don't understand numbers and math and I are not really good friends. That's pretty pivotal to the job. So you want to pick something that is not going to be something that's related to the job. Now, just remember, this is just a dumb question. It really has no bearing. I don't even know why they continue to ask it, but you are likely going to get asked this. Don't say you don't have any weaknesses because that's just being arrogant. We all do. We all have things that we're working on. And a weakness is not necessarily a bad thing either. It's maybe something that you're just, you're working on or that, that you haven't mastered yet. I mean, mine is totally math. It's just, I can do basic math. I understand basic algebra, but even my children, like when I'm helping them with their homework, they're like, don't hurt yourself, mom. Like, it's cool. I got this. Like, it's just not my strong subject, I'm much more, right-brained, where it's more like I'm verbal, I can write, those kind of things. I can bang out a 10-page paper in probably an hour. That's where my strengths are. Definitely not in math. So I could definitely talk about that. So you want to pick something again that is not directly related, that is not like a qualification or necessity for the job. So you could say, and always too, make sure it's something that you have kind of like worked on and it's no longer an issue. So you could say something like, and always make it look like you're thinking, it's like, okay, yeah, well, I would probably say like my greatest weakness is, it used to be time management. And then you want to follow that up with what you have done to fix it and how it's no longer a problem. So you could say something like, well, I used to struggle with time management, but I missed a couple deadlines, and I got written up at work. And now I set reminders and alarms, and I have now I'm known for turning in everything before the deadline. I haven't missed a deadline in 2 years. It could be something like that. Or maybe it's a school thing. Like I was turning in my assignments late and I saw that my grade was being affected and I didn't like that. So I started setting up reminders to make sure to check Canvas and make sure that I was on the right deadlines. And I haven't turned in anything late. And right now I currently have a 4.0, or 3.8 or whatever, something like that. So it's something that you were working on, it's something that you struggled with before, but then you worked on it and you fixed it. So that's one way to go about it. Again, picking something that's not pivotal to the job itself. That's not necessary, one of the necessary requirements, but how you have kind of fixed and how it's no longer an issue for you. The other way that you can kind of tackle this, and this is the way that I do it, and you're more than welcome to use this. I use it every single time. Actually, my mentor taught me this, and I have been using this for 20 plus years. But I pick something that's not really a weakness, but I make it sound like a weakness. And I always do it like I'm thinking. I'll go, oh, yeah, that's well, I guess I'd have to say that my greatest weakness is the fact that I tend to hold other people up to the same high expectation and standards that I hold myself up to. And so sometimes I can find myself getting a little disappointed and frustrated with my team. Nailed it. Like literally, that's not a weakness. That's saying that you have high expectations for yourself and that you have high expectations for everyone around you. That is something that an employer would love to hear. But the way that you word it makes it sound like, yeah, I just I just have such high expectations. And so sometimes I find myself getting a little frustrated or a little disappointed. And hands down, 100% of the time they go, hmm, and they jot something down, their little interview sheet, and then you move right on. So this isn't one that you need to, like again, put a whole lot of thought into. It's not something, I mean, I've never had them ask follow-up questions, but you might want to, again, my famous saying is have stuff in your back pocket. You might want to pick something else too, just in case they go, oh, that's interesting. What else? They might say something like that, or they can say, ooh, can you elaborate on that? Always be prepared with any of your interview questions that you might have to elaborate or give examples, or, they'll say, tell me a little bit more about that, or can you go into a little bit more detail, something like that. So just be prepared for that. So I always have extra stuff. And then again, I think in next week or the next week, we're going to talk about, the actual interview process. And I highly recommend when you're doing your research and you're preparing for the interview that you take notes, and then you take that portfolio with you and you have your notes, you have your legal pad, you've taken your notes, because you're going to ask them like, hey, do you mind if I take notes during the interview? And of course, you're going to be like, absolutely, you know? And so then you can reference your notes during the interview itself. All right, so that's the weakness question. I didn't even bother to pull up a PowerPoint because to me, it's just super stupid. And again, 25 years of, in the workforce, and they'll ask me that, and I use that exact same answer every time, and they make the face and they write a little note and then they move right on. I've never had them go, oh, tell me more, but you just never know. You just never know. So those are two ways: either pick something that's not pivotal to the job itself and how you have worked on it, how it's no longer a weakness for you, or pick something that's really truly a strength, but just kind of spin it. And again, you're welcome to use mine. I hold other people up to the same high expectation and standards that I hold myself up to. And so sometimes I find myself getting a little disappointed and frustrated with my team. Good. All right. The next one is tell me about your greatest accomplishments. Now, this is different. Let me make sure I can do my screen share. Okay. So this is something that they might ask you. Tell me about your greatest accomplishment. And why won't that go to me and technology? Hopefully you're seeing the screen. All right. So this one is not the same as what, see, that's not going now. Good Lord have mercy. Give me a second. Okay, I had to do a little troubleshooting here. Okay, so this is not the same as tell me about your greatest strengths. Okay, this is a completely different question here. Here's why. An accomplishment is a noteworthy, high-profile task or project that you worked on. Basically, you accomplished something. And now this won't, I don't know, why am I so special when it comes to this kind of stuff? Okay. It's basically you accomplish something, and it may or may not have to do with your innate strength. So it's something that you worked on, that you were, that you're proud of, and that's something that you actually accomplished. Okay, for example, say that your greatest strengths might be in managing people, but your biggest accomplishment was writing a paper that was published. So, it's a completely different question. So sometimes I think people get this one a little bit confused. So your greatest accomplishment isn't that you have fantastic time management, or that, you have great customer service or communication skills. It's something that you actually accomplished. So you can, okay, so it's designed to allow you to express your achievements, and they want to know kind of in a roundabout way how it relates to the job. So make sure, again, that we're always keeping things very applicable and relevant to the job that you are applying for. So talk about a noteworthy accomplishment that is aligned to the requirements of the job that you are applying for, if possible. So a great way to do this is kind of treat this like a behavioral question. And that's actually another question we're going to talk about in another week or so. But if you can use the STAR method, so identify the situation or the task that you did, discuss what you did, that's the action, the A and the star, and then what is the result? Make sure that you are picking a story or a task that highlights you as the hero. And another tip is to make sure that you're talking specifically about what you did, not so much what the team did, but what you did, because the team isn't going with you to this new job. You're doing this on your own. So they don't necessarily care about what the team accomplished. They care about your role in it. So what is it that you did specifically? Okay. Don't think that you have to have some kind of like grand, massive, huge accomplishment. It doesn't have to be like on this large scale. It can be something that you are just personally proud of. However, you don't necessarily want to use a personal accomplishment. If you absolutely don't have anything else that you can draw upon, of course you can. But you really want to try to keep it relevant to either previous work experience, maybe something at an internship that you completed, or a class, or a club, or organization, or team sport, or something like that. Definitely avoid anything that doesn't cast you as the hero. You want to be the hero of this story. Again, you're painting that picture. Like I said in the last video, you're connecting the dots between the job description and you, and showing them how you are the best fit for this job. Avoid using any kind of accomplishment that's not necessarily related to your career or the job that you're applying for. So, if you raised, some abandoned puppies, and were able to adopt them out to good, loving homes, yeah, that's really nice. But what does that have to do with the job that you're applying for? If you're going to be a vet, it would be, but probably not. Okay, so ways to create your answer. First, think about at least 5 of accomplishments that you can think of. I'm really into brainstorming. I think I said that in the last video. Write stuff down. Your subconscious mind starts to flow. Things that you kind of had put on the back burner that you forgot about will start coming to the forefront, and you'll start seeing like, oh yeah, I forgot about this, I forgot about that. So this is a really great way for you just to kind of dig into your subconscious mind and look back and see what the things that you have done in the past. Just write down the title and then organize them from greatest to least great. All right. Next to each of your accomplishments, write down how achieving them or contributing to that event, how it made you feel. Did it make you feel great, proud, satisfied, honored? What are the feelings associated with how you felt about that? Like I was a single mom, working full-time and working part-time as a supplemental instructor and going to grad school. Like, I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud that I was able to do that. I would graduate with my master's with a 4.0. I was also inducted into a National Leadership Excellence Society. I'm very, very proud of that, the whole while raising my children at the same time. So that would be something that I might be able to talk about. Yeah, it's a personal accomplishment, but it also talks about my ability to manage time and to meet deadlines, and to remember, we don't say multitask, but be able to prioritize deadlines. All right, step 3, write out each detail of the accomplishment and what you did to achieve it and how did you do it. You only have to really do this once, and you'll be able to use the same story in your subsequent interviews. So you don't have to do this for every single interview. This is why we're doing it in class. You have this already down. You're going to kind of keep a running file of all this stuff so that you can just kind of keep pulling from it throughout your professional history as you go for different jobs and different interviews and so on and so forth. Next, you want to kind of put it all together. Describe what you did, why you did it, really drill down. We talked about that in the resume video. Drill down to what you did and why you did what you did, and the impact that it had on your former employer. Again, bringing value. Always, always, always highlighting the value that you bring to this new organization. All right, a little piece of advice. Choose accomplishments from your career or experience that led to meaningful contributions, that value. All right, choose accomplishments you enjoy that made you feel good, and choose accomplishments that are related to the job or career, the type of company, the industry, anything along those lines that will help, again, paint that picture that they can see you doing that for them in this new company. They really want you really want to walk away and have them walk away with like they can really visualize you in that role. Okay, so that is your tell me about what your greatest weaknesses are and tell me about your greatest accomplishment. So 2 of the top 10 interview questions that you might encounter in professional interviews. All right, that's that for this week. I did post another video about this week's assignments, where we went over resume and cover letter. So if you have any questions, let me know, but please watch the videos as I do go into detail on how to do the assignments and what each week kind of is supposed to be covering. Also, please check out all the modules on Canvas. They also go into greater detail on with the stuff, the content and everything that we're covering. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, guys, have a great one. Talk to you later. Bye.